Welcome into NFL Daily. I am your host, Tom Downey, here to break down the NFC and the AFC playoff picture as we enter Week 11 of the 2020 NFL season. We'll start things off over in the NFC, the Green Bay Packers and the New Orleans Saints. Both 7-2, but the Packers, at least for the time being, have the tiebreaker advantage thanks to the Week 3 head-to-head win, which, by the way, was actually the last time the Saints lost a game. Now, the NFC West is super compact. The Cardinals, Rams, and Seahawks are all 6-3. Arizona wins that tiebreaker based on best win percentage in division games over Los Angeles and head-to-head over Seattle. The Eagles are technically leading the NFC East, or maybe they're not losing the NFC East right now. The Bucs at 7-3, they're the top wildcard team. And then the previously mentioned Rams and Seahawks. Rams have the advantage over Seattle thanks to head-to-head. And then some teams lurking kind of sort of in the hunt. The Bears, who are falling apart right now, they're 5-5. Vikings and Lions are both 4-5, with the Vikings getting the advantage there again due to head-to-head. Let's go now to the AFC, and bear with me because there are a lot of 6-3 teams here and a lot of tiebreakers going into play. Steelers remain undefeated. They, of course, are the number 1 seed right now. The Chiefs are number 2 at 8-1, and then the Bills at 7-3. The Colts have the 4 seed over the Tennessee Titans as the AFC South leader, thanks to the head-to-head results there. All right, the Raiders, Dolphins, Ravens, Browns, and Titans. There is a lot going on here, so just bear with me as I go through it. First off, the Browns get eliminated from the 5, 6, and 7 battle thanks to division tiebreakers and all of that. The Raiders win the first tiebreaker over Tennessee and Miami and Baltimore thanks to best win percentage in conference games. Remember, the Browns-Ravens head-to-head tiebreaker eliminates them early. The Dolphins are next up over Tennessee and the Ravens due to best win percentage in conference games. And the Ravens win the tiebreaker, over the Browns because of head-to-head, and also over Tennessee based on best win percentage in common games. So they're going deep for that tiebreaker. And then the Browns are actually ahead of the Tennessee Titans based on win percentage in common games. That Ravens-Browns tiebreaker no longer applies. That's why Cleveland's 8 and Tennessee is 9, but that is going to be an absolutely wild card race. Now, if you guys want consistent weekly updates on the NFL playoff pictures for the AFC and the NFC, I need you guys to like this video. That we can keep doing more of them for you. We had like 200 likes last time, and the bosses were like, oh, that's weak, Tom. Those are rookie numbers. Get those numbers up. So do me a favor and like this video. Let's go back now in depth on the NFC side of things, beginning with the number 1 seed, at least for now, the Green Bay Packers, who did not look particularly good against the Jacksonville Jags, although they do have an important game coming up this week against the Indianapolis Colts. The run defense for Green Bay is a major red flag, and that will be a problem. It's already been a problem against teams like Minnesota, for example. I think Green Bay will be fine. At least they have a healthy quarterback, which I cannot say about the current number 2 seed, the New Orleans Saints. Look, they're coming off a win over the San Francisco 49ers, 14 points, fairly easy. But they're going to be without Drew Brees for at least a couple of games, so maybe we'll see Jameis Winston. Maybe we'll see Taysom Hill. I don't know exactly what the plan is going to end up being like, but it should be interesting for New Orleans. On the bright side, they have gotten very hot the past couple of weeks. The number 3 seed, the Arizona Cardinals, they're taking over tiebreakers over the Rams and the Seahawks. Look, they're coming off that incredible miracle win against the Buffalo Bills, and now they take on the Seahawks in Thursday Night Football, which should be a fascinating game. The Cardinals-Seahawks always play wild ones. And, of course, there's some massive implications coming up for this game because the Cardinals, Rams, and Seahawks are all 6-3 in the NFC West, and the just injury-riddled 49ers are kind of trending in the wrong direction. This is going to be a fun finish. Unfortunately, all 3 of these teams are in the mix for the number 1 seed in the NFC, and yet 2 of them will end up being a wild card team. That's a little bit disappointing. I don't know the answer to this question. That's why I'm asking, because I want to see what you guys have to say. Who's the best team in the NFC? Last week, I would have said the Seattle Seahawks. Now I'm not so sure. Is it Green Bay? Is it New Orleans? There are a lot of good teams, but they all have some type of flaw. So I'm going to make this the pinned comment on today's video. Let me know who you think the best team in the NFC is. if you put in the Eagles, you're wrong. They're a bad football team. The NFC East in general is really bad at football right now. Carson Wentz looks like an absolutely broken human being. They could not beat the New York Giants in Week 10. They lost by 10 points. I guess the Eagles are still going to win it. I think they're going to be my pick, but they're not good right now at all. Now, we mentioned how there's a lot of teams fighting for that number one seed in the NFC. Well, the Bucs are included there. They're coming off a blowout win over the Carolina Panthers and a really good Monday Night Football game coming up as well as they host the L.A. Rams. The offense has been inconsistent at times. It kind of goes as Tom Brady tends to go. That defense, though, is good. Don't let the points per game fool you. I think they're more of a top 5 team. The Bucs are a legitimate contender in the playoffs this year. How far they go will depend on, frankly, which Tom Brady shows up any given game. Now, we will keep you covered on everything around the NFL for the teams in the mix, the playoff picture, all of that, updated games and all as well. And if you're already out of the playoff race, hey, Jets fans, you can focus on the NFL draft. We'll keep you covered with some more mock drafts coming your way in the very near future. So if you want consistent updates on everything around the NFL, hit that big red button and subscribe today. Another NFC West team here, the current number 6 seed, the L.A. Rams. Look, they're coming off an important win over the Seattle Seahawks, the aforementioned game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We don't always get the best Monday Night Football games. I mean, we all just watch painfully because we hate ourselves, but we love football. That gross Bears-Vikings game. But Rams-Bucks on Monday Night Football should be a good matchup. The Bucks are the favorites in this one. 3.5 points. The over-under fairly low, 47.5. Both of these defenses actually have played really well this year. This might not be a high-scoring affair, but I think it'll be a close game. So get your votes in. Who do you have on Monday Night Football? Type R for the Rams or type in B for the Bucks. I will shoot my shot and be exposed later on Freezing Cold Takes. I'll go Tampa in this one. I just really don't trust Jared Goff in big-time games. Although Goff did play well against the Seattle Seahawks, and they plummet from 2 weeks ago being the number 1 seed in the current NFC playoff picture to dropping all the way down to 7. It's been a rough couple of games, really tough opponents the Seahawks have faced, and they wrapped their really difficult part of their schedule up on Thursday Night Football against the Arizona Cardinals. These two teams have shown a penchant for playing just absolutely wild games and ones that don't make sense and end up finishing crazy, and they're entertaining. And you throw in the chaos that often is Thursday Night Football, I think this is going to be a fun game to watch. Now, the Seahawks here are a 3-point favorite. The over-under significantly high, all the way up at 58. So who do you have? Again, I'll let you guys get your votes in here. S for the Seahawks or type C for the Cardinals. Look, Russell Wilson's coming off a very disappointing showing. The defense was actually fine against the Rams. It was the offense that had a bunch of issues there. So I'm going to go with the Seahawks there. You can get your votes in, though. S for Seattle, C for the Cardinals. I did want to briefly mention one more time here both the Bears, or I should say the Bears, Vikings, and the Lions. The NFC North outside of Green Bay, they're all kind of lurking around each other. I don't really consider them legit playoff threats. Maybe Minnesota can get going here, but that run game didn't look very good against the Bears, and Kirk Cousins bailed him out despite the one interception, which really wasn't his fault. I think the 7 teams you see at the top are most likely to make the postseason this year in the NFC, but we'll see what happens. Now, if you guys haven't already, you should probably get yourself some extra face masks. You can get some NFL-themed ones by going to chatsports.com/stay safe. And oh, by the way, they're 25% off, or I should say up 25% off. They have a ton of different variety in multi-packs. As we can get player-themed ones like that Patrick Mahomes face mask. You can get the neck gaiter mask, which I actually find quite comfortable, especially as it gets colder and colder. And they sell up to 4 packs as well. So get yours today at chatsports.com/stay safe. I will put that link in the comments and in the description to make your life easier. So all you have to do is click and go shop. AFC now here. We'll begin with, well, the number 1 seed, the Pittsburgh Steelers, who I think they're going to go to 10-0 because they got the Jags this week. And yeah, Jacksonville competed against Green Bay, but then they remembered, oh yeah, we're trying to make sure we get Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields. I think Pittsburgh's going to blow out Jacksonville this week. I feel good about that one. Now put them at 10-0, and although it wouldn't technically clinch a playoff spot, we're still a few weeks away from getting into clinching scenarios. 10-0, yeah, you're a playoff team. The Kansas City Chiefs, they're the current number 2 seed, and they are looking for a revenge game this week against the Las Vegas Raiders. They're coming off the bye. Andy Reid didn't like the way the Raiders and the team bus handled the victory last time, but whatever, you lost, you don't get to complain. But they'll use that as motivation. I think this is a week the Chiefs team comes out focused. They don't always come out locked in. I think they come out locked and loaded this week. And the Chiefs are probably a popular answer to this question. What team is going to win Super Bowl 55? Get your votes in for me in the comment section. I think the Chiefs are most likely, but I also know how difficult it is to actually repeat and win a Super Bowl. So get your votes in. What team you think will win Super Bowl 55? The Buffalo Bills are the number 3 seed after that brutal, very painful, and frustrating loss against the Arizona Cardinals because DeAndre Hopkins is just too good. The Bills are on bye this week. Then they will host the Chargers in Week 12. They've been a little inconsistent at times. I thought they were going to beat Arizona, and then you saw what happened. Wild finish right there. So I like Buffalo. The Dolphins are lurking in the AFC East, but I think they're going to end up being a playoff team this year. The Indianapolis Colts at number 4 here. They took down the Titans on last week's Thursday Night Football. Now they got the Packers this week. The Colts defense is legit. They have done a fantastic job under DC Matt Eberflus, and that is the main reason why Indianapolis is, at least for now, at the top of the AFC South. But they could lose that spot this week with a very tough game coming up against a very good Green Bay Packers team. But the Colts at home are actually the favorites this week. -2 in this one, the over-under set at 51. That might come as a surprise to some people given Aaron Rodgers and all of that. So who do you guys have in this game? Let me know. Type IND for the Indianapolis Colts or GB for the Green Bay Packers. I kind of thought Green Bay was going to be favored in this one, and I have a philosophy when I'm surprised by a line, I always go in the other direction. So I'm going to go Indianapolis in this game, but get your votes in the comments section. Kind of mentioned the Raiders earlier. They got the Chiefs this week. The offense has been good. When Derek Carr has been, and I'm still not sure if it's allowed or forced to throw it downfield, it's been a much more effective offense. They absolutely blew out the Denver Broncos this past week. This is a legitimate Raiders football team. They are much better than what we saw last year. They were a potential regression candidate, but the team has played substantially better, top 10 in scoring offense. So get your votes in. Who do you guys have in this one? Type K for Kansas City Chiefs or type L for the Las Vegas Raiders. I kind of made my prediction earlier. I think this is the type of game the Chiefs come up and out for, and they are fired up and they play as well as we know they can. We haven't seen them play at the top level in every game this year. I'm going to go Kansas City, but you guys can get your votes in. Let's keep rolling through some more 6-3 teams here. How about the job the Dolphins have done? 5 straight wins now. They just took down the LA Chargers. And oh, by the way, now they got a struggling Denver Broncos team. It might be 6 in a row for Miami. And that Dolphins defense, it's really good. Let's go to a struggling team now. The Baltimore Ravens fall all the way down to 7 in the AFC playoff picture because they could not beat the Patriots. And now they play what I'm almost going to call a must-win game. With the way the AFC wildcard race is going, I think it is going to be a battle, and you're going to need to win every game possible. Well, this game, Tennessee-Baltimore, has significant playoff implications. There's going to be the head-to-head impact between Tennessee and Baltimore. It's a 6.5-point spread in favor of the Ravens in this game. I am inclined to think the Ravens will win this game. I was actually surprised the spread was that high. But I think eventually, with the Tennessee defense hasn't been very good, maybe this is a get-right game for the Ravens offense and Lamar Jackson. All right, the 2 teams just outside the top 7 seeds in the AFC. The Cleveland Browns are next up here. They technically snuck by the Houston Texans 10-7, but it could have easily been 17-7, but Nick Chubb's a smart football player. The Browns, all of their numbers are just average. They're not a bad football team. They're winning the games they're supposed to win, and in most seasons, that's enough to get them in the postseason. But this game against the Eagles, kind of going to be important. Remember, the Browns right now are 3rd in the AFC North. The Steelers lead the way. Then it's the Ravens, Browns, and the Bengals are still out there, but they're just not that good of a football team. At least not yet. Joe Burrow showing promise as a potential franchise savior. Big game coming up this week for the Cleveland Browns. And then the Tennessee Titans, who went from 4-2 on the outside looking in, all because they did not beat the Indianapolis Colts. They again visit the Ravens this week in a very important game. The Titans' offense has been good. Defense hasn't been as good. That is a significant concern for Tennessee going forward in what is going to be, I think, one of the most fun AFC wildcard races we've seen in quite some time. So get your votes in here. If you made all the way to the video, thank you very much for that. What teams do you think make the wild card in the AFC? Remember, you got 3 teams to pick from out of the Raiders, the Dolphins, the Ravens, the Browns, and I guess the Titans or the Colts. So remember, let me know in the comments what teams you think will make the wild card in the AFC. And if you haven't already, do me a favor and like this video.